Afternoon, everyone. This is my EDL 856 Module 5, Understanding My Community. My community I'm going to be talking about is Kansas City, Kansas, and the Kansas City, Kansas Public School District. A few customs and traditions. I kind of combined the first couple. Kansas City in itself is known across the country for their barbecue, our barbecue, as well as we are known for this being called the City of Fountains. Across our cities, we have thousands of fountains, hundreds of fountains across our beautiful city. 18th and Vine Jazz Fest is held every year. Also down 18th and Vine is where you can find the Negro League Baseball Hall of Fame. And then for some of our area, our two big sports teams, the Kansas City Royals and the Kansas City Chiefs. Opening day for the Royals is a huge deal. And Red Fridays across our city, you will see a lot of fans wearing red when the Chiefs have their games on Sundays. Coming down to Kansas City, our Wyandotte County Fair is a humongous deal every year, and the Kansas Speedway has really kind of changed the economic a point of western part of Kansas City. I mean, the development out there and what's going on out there are some things that I'll talk about a little bit later in the presentation. But the Kansas Speedway has really brought a tradition to our area once or twice a year when they have the races. In our district, you see a couple things there: convocation, and then three events that take place every year. Are You Faster Than a Fifth Grader? Involves our entire district getting involved with just coming together and having a community race against fifth graders. It's a lot of fun. I lost this year. And then we have a couple more. Battle of the Books and math relays are held every year as well. I changed the background on this one, kind of put in a picture of Kansas City itself and kind of broke it up north, south, east, west. And we'll talk about this picture a little bit later on. But just some characteristics, some demographics of Kansas City. Approximately 175,000 people live in Kansas City, pretty close to half and half with male and female. You see the percentages of white, black, and Hispanic, as well as other. A large increasing number of migrants moving to our area, making our city even more diverse, which is outstanding. Median age is right there, 32 for male and 34 for female. Unfortunately, 1 in 5 homes are single parent homes, which is something that we deal with here in the Kansas City, Kansas area. And in our school district, 80% of our students are on the free and reduced lunch. And then a couple of educational points there, with 77% of people holding a high school diploma or some type of certification higher, with 15% having a bachelor's or higher. Ways in which we communicate: tons of news stations: Fox 4, KNBC, KSHB, Metro Sports. We have tons. We have several libraries that our community members and stakeholders can attend. Newspapers: Kansas City Star is probably the biggest one. The Kansas City Call is a local Wyandotte County paper here in Kansas City, Kansas, which kind of services the African American community. Radio stations: our county webpage, our district webpage is full of information. Both the county and the district webpage, you can select different languages, so that's amazing. But it all really kind of depends on availability, where they live, can they afford Wi-Fi, can they get to the library. So where our news comes from really depends on individual person. Community groups: we have the Chamber of Commerce as well as the Black Chamber of Commerce. Community Foundations of Wyandotte County is fairly known. Armordale Renewal Association. YMCA has tons of community groups that meet throughout our city. We got a couple of recreational facilities, Eisenhower and Argentine, which again have some community groups and organizations there. We have a couple of sporting activities: KCK, RBI, and Wyandotte County Raiders football and cheerleading, kind of just bringing baseball and football to our youth, providing opportunities. Ad hoc Group Against Crime is a huge community group. That is exactly what they are, just a group against crime. They just there as a resource for our community. KCK Community College here in town has several community groups. The African American Student Union is a big one. And then here in KCK, we have marching bands, and we have athletic teams that are known: forensics and debate, and I probably should have spell checked debate. Our leadership. Our city leadership starts with our Board of Commissioners, which obviously includes our mayor, Mark Holland. And you can see some of the things that Mark Holland and our Board of Commissioners do for our city. Chief of Police, Wyandotte County Sheriff, our ad hoc president. Again, just that group. Damon Daniels leads that group against crime, that resource for our community. And then here, our school district, our superintendent, Dr. Cynthia Lane, and then moving to our assistant superintendent and Board of Education, or really a president, or really a leadership for our district. Community leaders and their characteristics. Mayor Mark Holland, who was up for re-election this year, is very involved in our schools and extremely transparent with his communication. And he is so involved in terms of the growth. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit, but very responsible for some of the things happening in Western Kansas City, things that are being, that area is booming right now at all. A lot of it being credited to Mark Holland. Our school and county meetings are open to the community. You can get the minutes available. The websites are user friendly, accessible, informative, and again, you can get them in different languages. The KCKPD is active in our community. They're active in our schools. There's an officer in each school, and then our ad hoc group against crime, just community programs, the counselors and therapists and supports specialists um, throughout, available through the ad hoc. Economic conditions. Putting this together, I mean, it kind of made me frown a little bit. It was kind of disheartening to hear, but again, there's some positive and some negative things going on. Median household income approximately 40,000, 24% living in poverty. Medium home value, and again, there's some older parts in Kansas City, and it really kind of pulls this value down. But right around 86,000 for median home. State and county tax rate, wish that was lower, 7.5%. And our property taxes here in Wyandotte County are the highest in the state, and they're just, in my opinion, ridiculous. Unemployment rate, 5.2% as of December 16th. And again, we talked about the free and reduced lunch for our students. But again, seeing that and hearing that, there's some good things going on, some great things going on in our city. There's a General Motors plant that provides employment opportunities for our city. The Kansas Speedway out there in that western part of Kansas City, and we'll talk about that here in a little bit. I mean, but it brought in area businesses like Cerner, Dairy Farmers of America, the Legends Outdoor Shopping Mall, Outlet Mall. Amazon, the picture in the middle, has decided to build a huge facility here in Kansas City, Kansas, and provide opportunities for our city. And then we were blessed with the United States men's soccer team, national team, is building their home headquarters just right here in the western part of Kansas City, and it's amazing. As well as obviously we have our school district and our community college. So knowing the political structure, the the struggle is real with Governor Sam Brownback, which all of my colleagues out there will can elaborate on. But obviously, since he's been in office in 2011, when those tax breaks kind of hit, really the last couple of years just fell into to adequately fund public schools across the state of Kansas, not only in Kansas City, Kansas, just dealing with the fear of closure, and it's just really hard times right now. But with that said, our community still stood up and voted in a $235 million no tax increase bond that's going to build two new middle schools, two elementary schools, as well as touch just about every building in our district. And there are some buildings that obviously need some touch ups. Social tension. I truly believe our city is divided, though we are very diverse. I mean, you'll find ethnicities and culturals, different cultures in all parts of our city. But I think that it is a little divided. Down there, number one, you'll see to the eastern part of Kansas, just a lot of poverty-stricken area down there. Um, Down there, number two is really where a lot of our Hispanic culture and a huge Hispanic community live down there. Three is really that kind of that middle class area. It's where I was born and raised as well. And then four is out in the western part of Kansas City, where the Kansas Speedway is, and just a booming area where a lot of our growth is taking place out there. Um, so I definitely think it's a city divided, but it's still it's an amazing city. KCKPS is a very diverse school. Um, a lot of support, paraprofessional support for our ELL students. We have translators. We have professional development every Wednesday during the school year. There's half day, and all teachers and staff go to professional development. Building administrators across our district have created and provided extracurricular activities outside of just the athletic part, to really hit on the multicultural um, things going on in our buildings. If you walk into one of our buildings, you will see very diverse, very diverse. You'll see that from the displays, from billboards, from newsletters being in Spanish and other languages. And then from my time in the building, I mean, we always covered, Black History Month and Cinco de Mayo were two big events that were covered. Dress code, kind of hitting again that multicultural dress code. Some communities Some schools in the communities voted for a unified dress code in which polos and slacks, is what the students wear every day. And then, of course, across our district, there's a district wide dress code for things that are acceptable and not acceptable, and even in athletic competition. I mean, there's our multicultural issues kind of hit our athletic competition as well. To find the extra sources of information throughout our city. Again, our district is full of information, all the information that you need for uh, for anything regarding our school and our community. The school board has a website, again, full of information, just like the county has tons of information for visitor information, a city directory, trying to, phone numbers and addresses to every, local business and things that you'll be looking for. And then two of our big chambers, our Chamber of Commerce and our Black Chamber of Commerce, just tons of information that you can find about the growth and development in Kansas City and things that are going on in Kansas City. For my EDL 850 class, we had to put together a flow chart. So I uploaded that flow chart here, and you see the power structures, for our district, and I put the pecking order there. Starts at the top. You see the Board of Education. It kind of flows down throughout our community, and all of the interconnectedness that you see from whether it's departments or people, community. I mean, we're all on that common vision. We all have those shared goals of pulling in the community, involving and engaging the community, and just one big community here in the Kansas City, Kansas area. Again, that know that power structure. Again, it's that top-down design, starting from our Board of Education and superintendent in the schools, in the city. It obviously will start with Mayor Holland and the Board of Commissioners. Again, just a lot of open and honest and transparent communication. And even with all those financial problems, our district has planned and prepared for this for years, just having options for teachers and staff members. If the district were to close, if it was going to close, we were made aware of that back in March and April, and they had a plan in place to take care of staff members. The last couple of presidential elections did kind of divide, some things with President Obama up to our current president. I mean, it just there were some significant backlashes. A lot of it probably built around race, if I had to guess. But we keep educating and putting out information, and don't bring that. A lot of it is not brought into the schools, but obviously there's pros and cons of the presidential election. But again, the community focus on the present. We kind of worry about what we can control. Buildings have their parent site council, where it really gets the community involved, and it really kind of ups the engagement from our parents and for our stakeholders. Public opinion, that's really kind of hit or miss. In the Kansas City, Kansas right now school district, we are really struggling filling all of our certified teaching. We have a lot of vacancies, and we have to fill the long-term subs, and it's not going over well with our public, with our stakeholders. Metal detectors in every school. It's one of those things where our students are greeted by metal detectors and every day, and again, the public opinion about that is not very positive. There's armed police officers in every building. There's one in every building. I can see the pros and cons of it, but again, it kind of gives that perception of our buildings, and it's not like that in every school in Kansas City. In the Kansas City, Kansas school district, it is, but we have other school districts in Kansas City that they don't have that. What can we do to improve public opinion, support, and participation? Knowledge is power. Again, we have our parent site councils, we have parent teacher conferences. Get that information out there through social media, weekly email, newsletters, and again, our community supports us. They voted for that bond, so they support us. And again, we can continue with the extracurricular activities for all students, getting all students involved. End of the year, public opinion and surveys. I mean, at the end of every year, there's a questionnaire for staff, students, and parents. Building committees, again, just to have that taking in all the information and processing that information. Parent teacher conferences, we have Google Forms and Survey Monkey, just kind of get their feel of what they want, what they hope would change, and face-to-face communication. And then we also have the translators for our parent teacher conferences as well. So that's kind of a makeup of the Kansas City, Kansas school district and the Kansas City, Kansas area. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time putting this together. Thanks a lot, and have a good one.